The first order of business would be adoption of some minutes from previous meetings. This would be Committee of the Whole minutes from May the 6th, Parcel Tax Roll Review Panel minutes from May the 6th, the regular open minutes from May the 6th, and the special open business plan update minutes of May the 13th, 2013. Was there any changes, deletions, alterations to those minutes? They will all be adopted by consensus. Under business arising from the prior minutes, you'll see the airport study funding, and it involves a report from the CAO. This was some money that Council put forward to our Economic Development Advisory Committee to fund a portion of an airport study. If you have the agenda, please have a look at it. There was some very strong cost savings as we went into this from what those costs could have been, and it was a shared relationship with it's truly a public-private partnership. We're sharing this cost with some members of the private enterprise. So we did move this forward, and we are getting another study on the airport, not another study, but a further study on there that's involving what it would really cost to ever take that airport into a commercial venture, or even being able to land small charter planes. So the council just thought it was valuable we have to have that information before you could make a decision. So we have moved forward with that $5,000 maximum contribution. And the other one that's coming forward is a motion from the in-camera meeting of May 6, 2013 with the OIB Phase 3 sewer service. Mr. Romanko, can you pick that up, please?
Certainly, Mayor Wells. This particular motion related to a decision that was held on, well, it's actually, the initial decision was in about October, November of last year, and we went into negotiations with the Osoyoos Indian Band in relation to providing additional sewer capacity to them for Phase 3 of the Spirit Ridge development. And the initial motion was passed in October. A subsequent negotiation had this particular motion passed later on. And now with the agreement being coming in front of council for deliberation this afternoon, this motion has to come out of in-camera first.
Right. So this would be bringing it out of our in-camera meeting, and it will appear later on in the meeting today for council's wishes. So and that's not that doesn't require a motion to bring it out. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Councillor Rhodes, Councillor Plant, any discussion on that? All in favor, opposed, carried. The next one would be introduction of late items. Is there any late items coming forward? Any late items? No late items. So the agenda will be adopted by consensus, bringing us to delegations. And we have the presentation of the community service grants. We have Mr. Davis here, Director of Community Services, Councillor Plant, and Councillor Ryan, who are part of that decision-making process committee. I'm going to come up front here, and we're going to go through the process.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. This is very excited about doing this. This makes my day that much better when I can actually give money away and feel good about doing it. So the Director of Community Service, Gerald Davies, met with Councillor Plant and Councillor Ryan to review the community service grant applications. The total approved budget for 2013 was $43,000. The town received approximately 15 requests. The organizations who are receiving these grants help make our community the vibrant destination it is today. We are very pleased to assist these organizations in all of their projects and endeavors. This year we have the following recipients that have been successful in securing a community service grant. So between myself and Councillor Ryan, we will be introducing you or your organizations. Please come up, handshake with the mayor, and obviously we'll give you a check. Since Bylaw.
So the first successful group is the Osoyoos royalty, and council and the people of Osoyoos are happy to give them $6,000 for program training expenses and for town promotion.
I don't
Kathy
see
there?
anybody
Kathy Basket was.
royalty. It's
No?
still school hours.
Okay. Well, anyway, they are.
This will be the first contribution to the splash park.
Excellent, excellent. The next recipient is the Festival Society. They're receiving a check for $6,000. This is Cherry Fiesta, the Easter Extravaganza, and our Christmas Light Up. So, thank you. Thank you for all you do. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nancy. That's just wonderful. And you add so much to our little town.
Thank you.
Along that same line, the Fireworks Committee is the next recipient, and they are going to receive $5,000 for the Canada Day fireworks, the best in BC. So, Annette Starr.
Thank you ever so much. Thank you ever so much. We'll have the photo opportunity on TV there. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks for coming forward.
Next on our list is our elementary school. We have a check for $5,000 going towards the project of building a new playground just outside the elementary. So, Mr. McFarland, are you here? Yeah. And our PAC committee, I see some members. And I think we got to have our little members come up too. Those who are going to use the park. Fantastic.
Thanks a lot. This is going to be for you guys. Here you go. There we go. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks a lot for. Yeah.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know you'll enjoy
Money
it.
well spent.
Thank you.
So, from the juniors to the seniors, the next group is the Elks Senior Citizen Society, and council is happy to give them $4,900 to offset the municipal portion of their property taxes for their senior housing complex. Elaine Barga.
Maybe I'm on the wrong side. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, good work.
Next on our list, we have Desert Sun Counseling. So we have a check here for $4,000 going towards the community kitchen, garden, and child minding.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you, Don. Thank you.
Very welcome. Yeah. Good work.
Good job.
Spend it wisely.
The next recipient is the Osoyoos Senior Center. We are happy to give them $2,600 to purchase tables for special events. And many of their tables are very heavy, so I think they're buying some lighter tables so that they can be moved around more easily.
Our backs tend to go.
And this is the President, Derek Boucher.
We appreciate that, and there's a lot of people who are already lining up to borrow those tables.
Next, we have Cassie. So we are doing a check here for $2,400, and this is going towards the Osoyoos Idol event. So hi.
We probably had a name change since we got the application, and Cassie is better at home. I knew it was at home. Okay, great. Well, congratulations, and thanks for your work in the town. It's well appreciated and recognized. Thank you. Better at home. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
The next recipient is the Elks Lodge, and they are being given $2,250 to, again, provide some tax relief from the municipal portion of taxes and for the good work that they do in the community.
And we appreciate that good work. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Taking a
Yes,
couple checks home.
thank you. Good work.
I think I'll leave the secondary school till last there. But next on my list is the International Curling Club. I'm a new member of the curling club. I had a fantastic time this year. So my privilege to give out this $1,000, which will assist with the purchasing of a new water heater. So thank you.
Gee, that goes back to about 55 that was built originally?
Milestone was coming this in 2014. So
Okay.
maybe
54.
Yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Next are the Seroptimists, a very high-profile community group, and they are receiving $1,000 for children and family support workshops.
We really do appreciate
thank you.
these volunteer small groups
very
that
welcome.
provide so much that we could never do it without volunteers and nonprofit societies and charities. So thanks a lot, folks.
And on the list next is the Royal Canadian Legion, and we have a check for $600 for the municipal portion of their taxes.
You take that, Jerry. Legion is one of these organizations because they do such a lot of fundraising through lotteries and bingos and things like that. They have to give all their net proceeds away, so we really do appreciate the service that you provide to our community. So thanks a lot to the Legion.
Thank you.
And that's it.
Oh, okay. For the okay. Yes, our last one is for the Osoyoos Secondary School, and we are providing the school with $2,250, and this will be for 3 bursaries, each worth $750.
And we'll announce those on graduation.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody. Wonderful. Thanks for your support, and thanks for giving us those fine services to all the people that need them and use them and really are quite rewarded by them. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Last year we all went outside for a picture taking, but I don't know if it's raining. Let's go. Oh.
Yeah, let's do a quick one. Yeah, photos. Let's go. Photos. Come on.
CJ and I are chopped liver.
True that.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
I'm not going.
Nobody shook my hand. Carry on. Emails.
So how'd you score? 93 to the It's very windy. Yeah. Yeah, 44 in the front. Pretty calm, and then up to the back.
I went Sunday night at 5 o'clock. It changed. Played 18 holes in 3 hours.
I played it Sunday night on the desert with a friend of mine.
Oh, yeah.
Who played, did 9
Yeah, it was, almost a running pace, which was, I was pretty tired after that.
And
It showed the last couple of years.
you have to spend that money.
That,
And
that part 5 across the water, or what is that?
That's my favorite ball.
Yeah,
You played that right? Yeah.
how do you take what
Throw it up to the green.
yeah,
I can make
I took it to the bird.
yeah, I got
land.
a nice drive, good 5 wood, just kind of the back part of the launching pad, and there's 5 wood, 150 yards, right, 5 feet. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I love that ball.
That's probably the best I've seen.
I guess you're not playing tonight.
Pretty quick, huh?
I don't know. I think it's going to get nasty out there. I'm a fair weather golfer. Yeah. It's supposed to get. We're supposed to get thunder and lightning and maybe some hail later on. So I think I'm going to pass. Yeah, which one?
Okay. Thank you, Val from Channel 18 for that little recess. Under delegations number 2, the Erdeljac property at 11,315 Street. Was there somebody appearing? Yes. Would you like to take the mic, please?
Yeah. I might as well do the report. first, I
Okay,
think.
excuse me. Excuse me, we'll have the report first, if you'd like to address it. So, Mr. Pageant, you can give that report, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. This report does deal with the property at 11003 115th Street in Osoyoos. Mr. Erdeljac has been invited to appear before Mayor and Council at this open meeting in order to be offered a chance to be heard regarding the town's intent to file a notice against land title as provided for under Section 57 of the Community Charter. According to Section 57, a building inspector may recommend to Council that it consider a resolution to file a notice in the Land Title Office that something has been done to a building or structure located on a property that would have required a permit or inspections under a bylaw, a regulation, or an enactment. The property is currently in contravention with the Town of Osoyoos Building Bylaw 1251/2009 and has in the past been in contravention with the previous Town of Osoyoos Building Bylaw 979/1995. Bylaw 1251, Section 22.1 states that no person shall demolish a building or structure or move any building or structure from one parcel of land to another parcel of land within the town or move a building or structure into the town without first obtaining a permit for the work. 9.2 of the bylaw states that no person shall occupy or permit the occupancy or use of any building or part thereof in the absence of an occupancy permit required by this bylaw and contrary to the terms of any permit, notice, or certificate given by the building official. Bylaw 979, Section 5, 2 states that no person shall occupy or permit occupancy of any building or part thereof hereafter constructed until the building inspector has issued a final inspection for it. Section 4 states that no building or structure or part of a building or structure shall be constructed unless a building permit for the work has first been issued by the building inspector. Now, currently there are at least 2 manufactured homes sited on the property, along with some smaller accessory structures that appeared to be used for manufacturing or repairing of equipment. No permits were issued for any of the structures. Attached to this report are some of the previous written correspondence with the owner and some photographs of the property depicting the various structures. File for this bylaw contraventions for the property dates back to February 2007. To date, the owner has failed to make any progress to bring the property into compliance with town bylaws, and in fact has connected to town water and sewer without permission to do so. The water and sewer services were disconnected in 2009. An investigation into the matter was concluded in February of 2010, and the property is also in contravention of the Town of Osoyoos zoning bylaw with respect to the permitted uses within the M1 zone. The options here are for Mayor and Council to direct staff to proceed with filing the notice on title, or to direct staff to not proceed with filing the notice on title. And the recommendation from staff is staff recommends that Council direct staff to proceed with filing the notice on title.
Thank you. Mr. Erdeljac, do you have anything to say? Could you speak at the microphone, please? And again, we'll need that address for your address.
Yes, my name is Josip Erdeljac, J-O-S-I-P, Erdeljac, E-R-D-E-L-J-A-C. I do reside in 11003 115th Street, Osoyoos. And yes, there is a great controversy, which I'm not going to go into details whatsoever because council knows what's going on. They have all the documents in hand, or should have looked at it. If they didn't, that's not my problem. Number one, where it all started is somebody stole $10,000 from the Osoyoos bank account, Town of Osoyoos bank account. And I was asked to replace that money, and I said, no. I have documents. I paid for my hookup, sewer, and water, and I will not pay for a second time. But the council disregard that. Not council. Actually, it's the planning department. The 3 people, Mr. Paget, Steve Shannon, and Cunningham. So this is to me, that's a criminal act. The RCMP should investigate who stole the money. Who is stealing money from town's bank account? And why should I be kicked off my property to pay a second time when nobody else is paying for 2 times or the same thing? I say no, and no again. And I'm saying to you right now, no. I will not pay. I will ask taxpayers of Osoyoos, and I will campaign to get full investigation into this and see who is stealing the money.
Well, Mr. Erdeljac, those are very serious charges that you're throwing around.
Of course they are.
And we're not really interested in
that. No,
if
it's
you
all in writing.
If you have something wrong with the criminal justice system, you should be going to the RCMP and maybe the Attorney General for the province. I see you've already been to the ombudsperson, and they haven't taken any action. So perhaps your information is a little bit thin.
No, it's in writing. You have documents. Your lawyer has documents. I have documents. And I can provide it at the special, if you want to, special meeting. I will bring my hard copies to you. You don't have to bring yours, I'll bring mine. Look at them. Hard copies you cannot forge. You're not forging them. You can't. This is not hot air. I'm a respectable citizen, no criminal record whatsoever. I'm not liar, never did lie in my life. I don't have to lie about that. Mr. Paget knows, and this gentleman here sitting in the corner, he knows that I could never get the permit because I didn't pay for sewer and water. How come? I have a receipt, final inspection. You don't get these receipts unless you paid for it. And you're telling me that I'm lying? Hey, let's not talk about it, okay?
Please.
Obviously, it's been many years going on, and you're fully aware of it, and you go along with it, and the one that steals and the one that holds the socket is equally guilty.
Okay.
You should have taken care of it by now. You should have asked for investigation. Let's get together and look at the documents.
Well, it goes back a long ways, Mr. Erdeljac.
17 years.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't think I was on council then. In fact,
No,
I'll guarantee it.
But you, when you take the office, you also take everything with it, good and bad.
That's right. You're right, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
I'm glad we agree on something.
Okay?
Anything else you wanted to say?
No, that's fine, Mr. Erdeljac.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. So, council, we have this before us, and what are council's wishes, whether this go ahead as the proceed with the filing of notice or not proceed with filing of notice.
Yeah,
Councilor Font?
I guess I have a couple of questions I would ask. These documents that he speaks of, have we had these, or have these come to our attention at all?
Yep, there was 2 ombudsperson investigations into the matter over the last 17 years. The last one being completed in 2010, with the ombudsman finding the town is in no way responsible and has treated Mr. Erdeljac fairly in every respect. We have receipts for, it's a long, long story. I don't know if we have time to get into that here, but basically Mr. Erdeljac had a piece of property that he subdivided, and he did pay for connections for that subdivided piece of property, built a building on it, and sold it. The piece of property next door was left empty with no service connections to it. That's where the story leads in and picks up from there.
That's right.
And we have all the receipts and documents and monies that were refunded and all that kind of stuff on file.
Okay. Councilor Rhodes?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Those connections, have they been disconnected? Or do we know?
Our records show that they are disconnected, that the property is not serviced at this point in time.
Are these buildings occupied on the property? Or?
Mr. Erdeljac is living on the property.
And what, well, I guess I can't ask if he's not up there. I'd like to know what happens to the sewer and where you get your water from.
Mr. Erdeljac, would you like to answer that question?
Yeah, I'd like to answer that question because Mr. Paget is misleading you.
Well, I'll make my own judgment about it. I was asking
He's
you.
misleading you because he said the sewer and water was never connected to the property that I live on. It was connected in 1992 and paid for. The new connection was made when I sold half of the property at 1001 115th Street. So he's not telling you the truth. He knows that was legitimate hookup that he cut off.
I'd like to ask you again, where do you get your water from and what do you do with your sewer?
I make do. I was born in 1934 in former Yugoslavia. We make do. And by the time you learn how to survive in this world, many people will die before they learn what I try to forget. I'm a survivor.
So I'll make a motion based on option number 1.
Okay, thank you. And that option would be to proceed with filing the notice on title. And there's a seconder for that, Councillor Plant. Any further discussion on that? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Mr. Erdeljac, council will review this. If they feel it's worthwhile, we'll go around this for the 5th time, but I will present it to council. We'll have a look and see whether they want to have a look at this any further. Although I don't think after two investigations by the ombudsperson.
Ombudsperson, I would like to be present at your meeting. I would like to bring my documents. You don't have to believe me. None. I'll bring the documents. I'll tell you what the ombudsman did. The minute ombudsman found out the money was stolen, shut down the investigation.
Okay. Okay.
And there, it's all written. There's nothing, no hot air here.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on into water matters and water accounts in the amount of $29,842.74 for approval. Councillor Morera, seconder Councillor McCordoff. Any discussion on that? All in favor, opposed, carried. Pay some accounts there. Correspondence from a report, the monthly report from the Okanagan Basin Water Board, received for approval. Any discussion on that? That would be by consensus. Into bylaws, land use procedure amendment bylaw, first off, and then terms of reference for the advisory design panel. Report from Mr. Shannon, please. Welcome, Mr. Shannon.
Good afternoon, Council. On May the 6th, during the COW meeting, we requested direction from Council on some proposed business-friendly amendments to our land use procedures bylaw on how to proceed with the advisory design panel. As per the direction received from Council on May the 6th, I prepared the land use procedures amendment bylaw for your consideration, along with some minor amendments to the terms of reference for the advisory design panel. I provided an overview of the amendments to the LUP bylaw and the minor changes to the terms of reference of the ADP. Under delegated approval authority, in 2010, Council delegated approval authority to the Director of Planning and Development Services for new form and character industrial development permits other than those associated with the zoning amendment, new environmental development permits for riparian, environmentally sensitive, hillside, and wildfire interface areas, as well as amendments to terms and conditions of existing development permits. Approval authority was not given to the Director for new form and character commercial and multifamily development permits at that time. On May the 6th, Council directed staff to prepare the LUP amendment bylaw, which would give the Director approval authority for all development permits unless they are associated with a zoning amendment. Moving on to development application signage. On May the 6th, staff suggested to Council that we only require development application signage when the development application is associated with a rezoning. At the time, Council directed staff to continue with the current requirements for development application signage, but to allow developers to reduce the size of development application signage associated with development permit applications. As stated earlier, staff have prepared the attached LUP amendment bylaw for your consideration. Now moving on to the advisory design panel terms of reference. On May the 6th, staff advised Council of the status of the ADP, including that we've lost some of the panel members over the past couple of years, which have not been replaced, and the term of all four of the remaining members has expired. Council did not want to discontinue the panel, but instead, Council directed staff to make some minor changes to the terms of reference that would allow staff, at their discretion, to get the panel involved earlier in the design stage. So minor changes have been made to the attached terms of reference as follows. Previously, Section 5A under meeting procedures and rules, it stated that the advisory design panel shall meet regularly as required on the second Tuesday of each month. As amended, Section 5 now would state, at the chair's discretion, the panel will be invited to become involved as early as possible in the design stage. We've also suggested here that the number of citizen representatives be reduced from 7 to 5, and that the number of members required to create a meeting forum be reduced from 4 to 3. Under impacts to the community, the review of development projects helps to communicate with clarity the community's expectation of high quality development and redevelopment throughout the town. Under organizational, staff time is required to administer the development application signage requirements of the OIB bylaw. Staff time is also required to schedule ATP meetings and to prepare ADP meeting agenda packages. Under budget, there will be expenses related to advertising for ADP membership. Under sustainability, environmental considerations are considered as part of the form character review process by the advisory design panel. Your options here, number 1, read the Land Use Procedures Amendment Bylaw number 1235.05 2013 for the first, second, and third time. Number 2, do not give any bylaw, or do not give the bylaw any readings. Number 3, approve the changes to the terms of reference of the advisory design panel and direct staff to proceed with advertising for the recruitment of panel members to be considered by council at a future meeting. Or 4, request additional changes or information from staff. And recommendation, staff recommends that council proceed with options 1 and 3.
Thank you, Mr. Shannon. Council's wishes, please. Councilor McCordoff.
Yes, thank you. I would move options 1 and 3 as suggested.
Okay, and Councilor Ryan is seconder. Any comments, discussion on that, please, Councilor Ryan?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a question, really. We're going to advertise for new members. Presumably, we'll be thanking the existing members or the previous members for their service, and I guess they may as well apply if they wish to.
That's the way I see it. They would definitely be thanked for their service, and they would also be more than welcome to apply to continue with their service. You know, most of the members have been on the panel since the beginning of the panel, and I've got it going back as early as 1992.
So they may want to take a break, I guess.
They may, and they may not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that would be for the first 3 readings, and approve the changes, direct staff to proceed with advertising for the recruitment of the panel members. Any further comments on that? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thanks, Mr. Shannon. That next goes into the business portion of our meeting, and there's some out-of-town meeting reports for myself, the mayor, and councilors Ryan and McCordoff. I believe I was 200, and the councilors were 300. They attended the Southern Interior Local Government Conference in Salmon Arm, and the 2 of them went and represented council. Actually, Councillor Plant was there also, and they represented council. This is our parent body heading to the UBCM, looking for resolutions and working through the governance structure of being a councillor heading to the UBCM in late September. So do we have a motion for those, Councillor Rhodes and Councillor Plant? Any discussion on that? Councillor McCordoff.
Thank you. I just noticed on my report that I have made an error in the dates. It says April 3rd to May 3rd. It really wasn't. It was April the 30th. So could I have that changed, please? I apologize.
Okay. Thank you. As amended, all in favor, opposed, carried. Thank you. The fireworks fundraising, a report from the CAO. Mr. Romanko, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. A new method of fundraising for the July 1st fireworks was instituted for 2013. In previous years, Frank Zanflit led the fundraising campaign and designed and implemented the show. Frank is no longer able to contribute the volunteer time to fundraising, but will continue to seek wholesale pricing, design, and implement the fireworks show. A public call-out for volunteers resulted in 2 members of the community stepping forward to assume the challenge of fundraising for this major community event. These volunteers are Annette Starr and Etta Mae Pratt. The town recently provided the fireworks committee with a grant of $5,000. Attached are letters from the community volunteers requesting that the town loan the funds required to pay the deposit on the fireworks needed for the show. From discussions with the volunteers, the fireworks deposit needs to be paid prior to the end of May. The committee will communicate with the supplier to extend the deposit deadline. It is the intention of the committee to pay the town funds back incrementally as funds are raised with the timeline of June 15th for full repayment. Council, through natural person powers, has the authority to loan funds. However, a 2-week publication of intention process is required. Intention process is required to the decision to be made. Provided below is the legislation that has influence on this situation, and I won't read that part of the legislation. Specifically, it says that council can, in fact, loan money, and if you are going to loan money, a notice must be provided. The July 1st fireworks display is an important part of the overall festival and assists with economic development and community spirit in the development. Organizationally, staff time to develop advertising and additional council reports. Budget funds would be taken from our contingency or economic development budget lines. Significant dates, if directed to proceed, advertising may be placed in the May 22nd and 29th times, and a report will be brought to council at the June 3rd meeting. If we can't advertise in the 22nd edition, then the process will be pushed back with council addressing the issue at its June 17th meeting. So in terms of options, council passes a resolution not to support the requested loan. Option 2, council passes a resolution to direct staff to advertise an intention to loan the funds. And number 3, council passes a resolution to provide funds as a grant and aid with either contingency or economic development funding or some combination of the 2 line budgets. And staff recommends council follows the community charter requirements of newspaper notification if the intention is to consider the loan.
Okay, thank you. Council, please. Councilor McCorduck.
Yes, thank you. I would definitely like to see us follow the community charter requirements of newspaper notification to consider this loan.
And that seconder, Councilor Rhodes. I guess that brings up a question to me. Is there a negative side? I mean, this is like alternate approval. So we put the ad in the paper, we notify people that we're going to loan the $25,000. What if people don't like it?
Well, then it'll be up to council. There's no magic number of, you know, if let's say the ratepayers came with a petition or anything like that. There's no
10% of the.
No.
Okay.
No,
so
this is a notification process.
Okay. So if people approached you on the street or send a petition, I guess they could always send a petition if they were opposed. There's, as you say, there's no triggering number, but it seems strange you put the ad in the paper without a result.
Well, the ad goes in the paper to, I guess, test the waters, right, for better or worse terminology. The public can provide council with feedback, and then council comes back on June 3rd to make a decision based on the feedback that they have received or not received over the last couple of weeks.
Okay, I'll go to Councillor Ryan, please. Councillor McCord.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm just wondering, if we're making a loan, is this a loan to 2 individuals? I mean, I'm not I wasn't aware that the fireworks committee was an established, group that could receive a loan. I mean, I know we want to have the fireworks, but to loan it, we have to loan it to someone or to some entity, and I presume we're loaning it to these two individuals who are forming the committee.
Mr. Romanko, please.
The way we would work that is we would actually provide the check for the deposit straight to the fireworks company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Councilor McCordoff.
Yes, thank you. When this started a couple of months ago, and we were concerned about how the fireworks would be supported this year, and it has, I think it's the 17th or 18th year that Frank Sandfleet has been doing this. So it's a well-established thing. It's absolutely part of Cherry Fiesta. But I need to tell you that a friend of mine, an individual citizen, said to me, if they need some money to write the first check, I would be happy to do it. So that tells you that people are willing to step forward. And I don't think, unless we're stuck and we don't have any other way of doing it. But a friend of mine said she would put up $25,000 and know that it would be paid back. So that's how important the fireworks are to this town.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got a couple other.
Thanks, Councilor McCordoff.
Loan only.
Councilor Rhodes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I'm certainly in favor of this motion, and I would like to ask one question about the worst-case scenario. If things fall apart, do we have risk with this loan? If let's say there's only $10,000 collected, just for extreme exaggeration to make a point.
Well, I guess there would be risk because again, the members of the committee have said that they will fundraise until the loan is repaid. So council is basing that decision based on, I guess, the goodwill of the volunteers who have made their personal commitments to raise the funds.
I guess I have a question along that line. So is this the total amount, the 25, or is there, because I always thought that we spent a bit more than that on fireworks.
This is just a deposit. This is half of the amount that's normally spent on the fireworks show.
But we would only be in for this amount also.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, I think it's a great thing, but it's relatively new for council to be loaning money. Obviously, it's a great thing for Osoyoos and the whole July 1st Cherry Fiesta. So I'm in favor of it also, but we are having to ask these first time around questions. Councillor Ryan.
Yes, as you say, it's the first time around for this. We haven't experienced it before, even though the fireworks happen rather magically. So does this mean that that the expenditures from previous years, last year or previous years, the total amount is expended on the fireworks, and so there's no balance that carries forward from year to year?
Okay. Minimal, if any, would be my understanding.
Yeah.
Okay.
$10. That's what I understand.
Councilor McCordoff.
Yeah, thank you. The letter written to town by the fireworks committee suggests that they want to make it bigger and better, and they're looking at raising, I think, $50,000. My suggestion is that hopefully they will slow that down a little bit if they're having trouble, because I think that is quite a bit more than was raised last year, and I think the show last year was an excellent one. It went on for 27 minutes, and I think that maybe toning it down just a little bit might not be a bad idea, but they're extremely enthusiastic, so I wish them the best.
Anything further, council? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. There will be fireworks this year. Next item up would be report on the Osoyoos Indian Band Phase 3 Sewer Servicing Agreement. Again, Mr. Romanko, please. This came forward from from our in-camera meeting. We brought it out into the public light, so to speak, earlier today, and now we have to deliberate on whether this passes or not. Mr. Remanko, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. The Osoyoos Indian Band plans for the development of Phase 3 Spirit Ridge have been discussed with the administration several times over the past 2 years. The formal development process has been delayed due to economic conditions. However, in the fall of 2012, the administration was discussing the provision of services under a new sewer agreement because the OIB had previously used their earlier allotment of sewer units. The Osoyoos Indian Band formally approached the Town Council in November 2012 and requested that 45 units of sewer be provided for Phase 3 Spirit Ridge development. Administration was given direction in the negotiating process and presented the Osoyoos Indian Band with a rate. On December 3rd, Council agreed to provide sewer services to the Osoyoos Indian Band at a rate of $8,000 per unit by passing a motion at the December 3rd meeting. The agreement to pay $8,000 per sewer unit for the Phase 3 of Spirit Ridge has been approved by the Osoyoos Indian Band Council as signified by the attached signed Band Council resolution. The attached agreement is a new agreement that brings contemporary language to our contract agreement relationship and enables the OIB to purchase 45 units of sewer capacity for the Spirit Ridge Phase 3 development only. In terms of implications, community, the business relationship with the Osoyoos Indian Band continues and allows for further growth in the region. Organizationally, Council recognizes the need to address the sewer capacity of our current system and its ability to provide extraterritorial and future developments of our community. A terms of reference for a sewer capacity study is currently being developed. However, the administration is confident that the identified capital expansion of our recycled effluent system enables the provision of these units to the Osoyoos Indian Band. In terms of budget, the sewer fund will receive $360,000. In terms of significant dates, construction of the development is currently underway. Options identified to provide the attached to approve the attached sewer agreement with the Osoyoos Indian Band, enabling them to access 45 units of sewer at a rate of $8,000 per unit. Number 2, to not approve the attached sewer agreement and provide recommended changes. And number 3, to not enter into a sewer agreement with the Osoyoos Indian Band. And administration is recommending option number 1.
Thank you, Mr. Remanko. This unfortunately has a bit of an issue attached to it that I wished it didn't. I would really like to go ahead and approve this. However, when we got into all the effluent issues with the golf course residents and the Dividend Ridge residents and all our extra effluent up there were statements made at the time that there would be no further effluent until we had a capacity study done. We are in the business of forwarding the sewer effluent capacity, and that's being worked on. Unfortunately, these 45 units were basically approved verbally. They were spoken for units. We knew they were coming. And what happened is it just got caught in that timing process because there was some negotiations going on, and actually the price per unit went up from what it was into the new $8,000 a unit. So that was a negotiation that was going on. And as far as I'm concerned, I think Council will have to make their own deliberations on this. As far as I'm concerned, I have a hard time voting for this because I made public statements that there wouldn't be any more effluent until we had a capacity service done. Although these were hanging around the periphery and were certainly there, and we knew and I believe had verbally committed for these units. So sort of the old catch-22, rock and a hard place situation. Council, please. Councilor McCordoff.
Yes, thank you. I see that when we originally discussed this and moved it from 6,000 to 8,000 and sent it back to the OIB, which they agreed to, that was several months ago. And at that point, we didn't have knowledge of the problems that with the effluent. So I do feel that because the units have already been agreed to, the units have already started to be built, that we have an obligation to carry through with this at the agreed price of 8,000, which is better than 6. I do think, though, that if there's anything else that happens there or anywhere else, that we absolutely owe it to the people of Osoyoos to not go forward with anything until it's totally researched. So I'm in favor of going ahead.
Thank you for that input. I really, truly appreciate that. Councillor Rhodes?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, that was a little bit of a setback for me, but I'd still, at this point, I'd like to make a motion based on option number 1, the one that is recommended. I'll just read this one out. To approve the attached sewer service agreement with the OIB, enabling them to access 45 units of sewer capacity at a rate of $8,000 per unit.
Thank you. And Councillor McCordoff, you're second in that, certainly. We might as well go round table. Councillor, I'm sorry, speaking to the motion, Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you. I'll be brief. When I first read this, I was conflicted, and I've used that word in almost every time we come up with the word sewer capacity or anything that's related to it. I automatically become conflicted with it. I have quite vivid memories of supporting the negotiation when we bumped it up a few $1,000s per unit. At that time, I was moving forward with the knowledge that we would be able to handle this capacity. And you know, the development itself is in full bloom right now. I would be really concerned of the possibility of this closing down that development at this time because of no sewer. Well, they look for other options if they have any, and I think that we owe them this much. And I'm going to grandstand a little bit, and I'm hoping that this is the last one that we have to stand up and talk about before the capacity study is done, because I'm just going to bail out of every one of them from now on, and I'll make that statement right now. We just really need to know about our ability to handle sewer capacity and where we're at and where we're going with it.
Thanks, Councillor Rhodes. Very, very good words. Yeah, thank you. Councillor Pond.
My question again will be under the impacts as far as the organizational. I'm curious to know, we have identified the capital expansion of our recycled effluent, but where are we towards, if we were to hook up, are we going to be ahead of their project? As you just said, they are moving ahead really quickly up there. Are we hooking up before we put in our expansion? I guess would be my question.
Mr. Romanko?
I can't really say for sure what we had planned this year for the expansion into use of the high school playing fields for disposal of the recycled effluent. Unfortunately, we've hit a snag with the school board relative to providing that service. The Phase 2 of the effluent scheduled for next year included the running of the line out to the airport, and we will probably proceed with some of the work with Phase 1 this year, but it won't allow us to discharge. We do have the use of the I'm looking for the term. I lost the term for the. It's like the big sewer field we created in the back of Desert Park, the subsurface effluent project there that we can continually use to manage our effluent. In talking to Public Works, It looks like we've had a very good spring, and our ponds are dropping, our lagoons are dropping, and we still can manage that during the course of the summer. The feeling is that we will be, and for all intents and purposes, cutting into the excess that has been plaguing us for the last few years. And if we can get the approval of the high school, I'm not holding my breath that we're going to be able to use those sports fields this year. But we do have options relative to that additional sewer field that we can use. I don't know exactly when these units will come online. They're into construction mode. They may not be filled until next year. And if they are filled next year, I'm sure we'll be able to have worked out our details with the high school, and also we would be well on our way to start phase 2 of the effluent out to the airport.
Okay, and that's just so crucial right now. You know, because we do have a few other projects that are out there, and you certainly don't want to be saying, you know, be that the Demers RV park or things like that. I mean, that's a long ways down because it's got Agricultural Land Commission, but I think there are some other developments that are in town that are basically serviced as multifamily properties that yeah, we just really need that capacity study and see what we're at. I think council would feel a lot more comfortable when we get it. I know it's it's in the works.
Just in terms of that, I reviewed the first draft of the terms of reference last week.
Okay.
So we just have some fine tuning to do relative to how do you do a population projection for this community over the next 10 to 20 years.
Right.
We have to work through that difficulty and how we're going to do that, whether we're going to have the contracting company do that, or we will do it internally and supply those figures, and then we're prepared to bring that terms of reference to council just to review and to ensure that we're touching all the areas that council wants.
Okay, great, thank you. Councilor Ryan, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I appreciated your preface to this because I don't recall offhand you know, some of the key dates, but clearly there was. You know, we had something in the early fall about our lack of capacity last year and the need to release some of the effluent from the ponds. But what I would like to suggest and perhaps ask your direction on is I would either like to make a sort of a rider to this. Or as you wish, a separate amendment, a separate motion. But the proposal would be that we put a rider on this, that we approve it, but we also advise the Osoyoos Indian Band that we will not approve any further extra boundary services until council has received and accepted the capacity study.
Okay.
So if that's okay, presumably that would stand as a policy decision, whether it's attached to this or separate, but I'll let you decide how you would like to have it.
I think that can be in addition to the motion, because the motion was to grant it, but also to advise the Osoyoos Indian Band that at this point there is no more capacity until the capacity study has been not only completed but accepted by Osoyoos Town Council. Mr. Romanko, please.
Can I suggest two separate motions, because a member of council may have one opinion on the first motion,
Okay.
and a second opinion on.
Certainly we can certainly do that. Councilor Rhodes.
Thank you for that. Because I put the motion on the floor, I don't think I'd be prepared to accept that as a friendly amendment. I don't view this as I view this motion as being our relationship with the OIB. There will be other people that will be affected by that decision, and I wouldn't want to separate them out and say only them, because there are other people that will have applications. I would much rather see it being a separate motion that's clear and concise and sends a message to every entity, not just the OIB. I mean,
Absolutely. I agree that it doesn't apply just to the OIB.
And to that end, we'll put the terminology extraterritorial, no further extraterritorial effluent purchases until the capacity study is completed and accepted by the town of Osoyoos. But we'll get to that resolution in a minute.
Okay.
So going back to the original resolution, was there any more comments? Going back to the original resolution of granting the 45 units at $8,000 per. Could we have that read back, Ms. Scott, please?
Moved by Councillor Rose and seconded by Councillor McCordoff, and resolved that Council approves the sewer service agreement with the OIB, enabling them to access 45 units of sewer capacity at a rate of $8,000 per unit.
Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Now the second motion, Councillor Ryan.
Yes, thank you. I would like to move that we, Council, not approve any extraterritorial sewer services until Council has received and accepted the pending capacity study.
Thank you. Seconder for that, Councillor Plant. Speaking to that, I think pretty obvious. Any go ahead, Councillor.
Yeah, well, simply to say that you know, I do feel very strongly about this, and I think that we should really draw the line and say that, you know, it's something that is absolutely essential to know where we stand and how much capacity we will have, because as we know, much of the development and the granting of sewer and water over the last year has been outside of our boundaries, and right. So I think it's really it's part of our stewardship of the you know, the people who live within the town of Osoyoos, that we make sure that they are served first.
Okay. Any further comments on that? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Thank you. Next item of business, the storm sewer tender. Mr. Zackel not here. Mr. Romanko, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. The Gala stormwater outfall and reconstruction of the lane south of Main Street between 87th and 85th were tendered with the closing date of May 7th, 2013. These two projects are included in this year's financial plan and have a total budget of $182,000. A total of three tenders were received for these projects, with V-Line Construction being the lowest tender bid. True Consulting has reviewed all the tender packages and is recommending to Council that the tender be awarded to V-Line Construction. This project has a completion date of June 30th, 2013, if the contract is awarded on May 21st, 2013. In addition, language is included in the contract that the town would be compensated for liquidated damages of $1,200 per day, not including disbursement expenses, should the completion date not be achieved. V-Line will be asked to provide a construction schedule illustrating compliance with the specified completion date. Implications, completion of the capital projects as approved by Council in the financial plan. No organizational impacts. Estimated to be $32,440 under budget. Significant dates: awarding a contract May 21st, completion June 30th, 2013. Sustainability improvements to the town's infrastructure. The options provided include to award the 2013 stormwater tender to V-Line Construction in the amount of $133,444.60, including contingency allowance and GST. The second one is to defer the awarding of the contract, and 3 is not to proceed with the project. And the recommendation is option 1.
Thank you. Council, please. Oh, just before we have that debate, it's interesting to note the dates in here, the critical dates that have come up. This was a request from Council. We just thought that there was a lot of some of our previous work, particularly around the marina, while there was much cause for delay, there also seemed to be much delay for cause. So with that in mind, Council has all of our contracts now are going to have critical dates and expectations of completion for not just council, but for all the people that are involved in it or in your neighborhood, or, you know, sometimes those trucks can be rumbling around for way too long a period of time. So anyway, council's wishes on this contract, please. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to move that we award the 2013 storm sewer tender to V-Line Construction in the amount of $133,444.60, including contingency allowance and GST.
Thank you. Councillor McCordoff seconding. Comments, please. Councillor Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know this is a really important project, and I support it, but I would be a lot happier if we had some kind of a briefing on what this will do and where it's going to, you know, how it's going to gather all that excess water that has flooded 85th Street, and before we give it out, because in my mind we've had a number of projects, and there've been little quirks that happen after we do the tender, and I would be a lot happier if we got some sort of a little preview before we actually tendered, or certainly before we awarded the tender, just to know what it is. I looked in the specifications and saw that there are X number of drains and manholes and so on, but I guess I'm needing some reassurance about the rain in that area, and I'd like to know, you know, how big the catch basins are going to be and where they're going to be located, and are they well situated for the flow of water that's going to have to be handled by them.
Okay. I don't know how to answer that.
Well, I think it may call for a notice of motion of some point, some description.
Okay, but on this one here, we're going to.
Well, I think I could call it a rant.
Okay. Well, we understand rants. Director Doucette did speak to this at our last meeting with a series of dry wells and catch basins, and basically, as I recall, the whole back alley behind Main Street, if I had that right. So the back alley will be probably V'd or something like that, and then catch basins right across the alley, right behind Home Hardware there. I know Francis would be very, very excited about that. And there was one point where I actually had council direction to establish a dialogue with Francis on whether she wanted to partake in the financial aspect of this project. And she said she would if everybody was, but other than that, she said, you know, why would I step forward? And I felt kind of silly going, yes, why would you? So, but that was the design to redo the alley, because it goes down there like a cement river, and Main Street, and we did investigate whether, because coming down Main Street in the front of the Home Hardware and sweeping down 85th, I've seen it like a raging river off of the Main Street rush, and we did approach Ministry of Transportation, and they were very forthwith in their reply of, no, we don't do that. Our roads paved curb to curb may create the problem, but we don't help solve that problem. So it threw it right back into our hands again, and that's what I recall about the project. So. Any further discussion, Councillor Rhodes?
Just to maybe add to that, there is a component of the Gala Crescent as well in this.
Yes.
The work is sort of similar, but the end result will be the same. That we'll have much better collection of stormwater in Gala Crescent. I know it's been flooding out some of the driveways and stuff like that, and that's also a component of this tender as well.
Right, right. I unfortunately think the Gala component there, I don't know what the groundwater condition was there. Mr. Emanko, do you recall that? I thought it was going to go by the marina.
Yeah, it's coming out by, there's a storm outflow right into the marina.
Right, right. So let's hope we don't have too much rain there, because that's going to be a silting issue.
Yeah.
And anytime you're trying to channel stormwater, it really is a costly, basically losing proposition. There's just no doubt about that. Any further comments on this? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried also. Thank you. General accounts. Screen up here. General and Sunbowl cash requirements to May 21st, representing balances in the following funds. General Fund, $562,498.49. Sunbowl Arena account in the amount of $13,202.62. And payroll recounts received for information, $69,944.60. Any inputs into any of those accounts, they will be adopted and received by consensus. Summary of building permits for the month of, for the month of April. Total for the month was $706,000. Total to date, $1,013,000. Total to date a year ago was more than double that at $2,362,000. So there was one new single-family dwelling, and an alteration, I guess, interior alteration was also done. Why am I seeing this 300 and South Okanagan Association Grayback?
Well, that's the one up the street by Tim Hortons.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their building.
Yes, yes. Okay, so anyway, I'm looking for a motion to receive that. Councillor Rose Ryan, all in favor. That has been received. Committee report, Councillor McCordoff, EDAC.
Yes, we had the last Economic Development Advisory Committee was on May the 8th. It started at 7 and I think we finished at 10. So everybody was very chatty. Several things that were on the agenda. One was the relocation guide, which is up and ready to go with a few tweaks. And we welcomed 2 new members onto the committee. Jamie Elder and Chris Shuren have been appointed to the committee as well, and they were also there. There's a business visitation update, which is I'm going to speak about in my council report as well. So that was discussed at the same time, and they were quite happy to know that the Osoyoos website was up and running, and they wanted to make sure there was a link to the economic part of it. That was their question. So that was the Economic Development Advisory Committee meets once a month, and as a matter of fact, some of the things that were on the agenda were not even we weren't even able to talk about it. It was too late. So it goes on to next month's.
Great, thank you. Motion to receive, Councillor Ryan Plant. All in favor, we will receive that report. CAO report, Mr. Remanko, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. Just a few of the items that the administration has been involved in over the last couple of weeks, starting first of all in the community services area. The Arena and Sonora Center maintenance staff attended the Recreation Facilities Association of BC conference in Castlegar. As part of the shutdown, the new dehumidifier is being installed. Everything will be on course for startup in the 3rd week of July. Desert Park Complex, tear out was scheduled to be done with testing on interior to be completed on Tuesday, May 21st. Results will be available within a couple days, and then the Society will be doing some work getting ready for the June 15th race dates. The equipment for Phase 1 of the Splash Park has been ordered. Slow Pitch League, it winds up June 9th. And the Fit Kids Gymnastics program from Penticton is looking at doing a program for us in September. In terms of corporate services, work continues on the annual report preparation, finalize the archery school agreement. A lot of time was spent preparing the boat trailer parking permits, distributing them this week, and we got some very good feedback from the hotel owners and that, and they're quite happy to see programs such as this, and we'll just work through the initial bugs, I think, to make it happen. And bylaw enforcement has been dealing with water waste, dog control, and unsightly properties, and review of some benefits, costing for better rates and coverages is occurring right now. And in terms of emergency management, lake flooding and level monitoring, sandbags and news updates for the website have been occurring. Finance, the water district notices have been mailed out. They're printing the property tax notices. I see mine was on my desk this morning. And also all the statutory reporting to the province, and reviewing all accounts till April. Planning and development, the electrical charging station was open for the long weekend, and we'll just be working out some signage issues with that over the next while, and also the organized marina opening. Public Works was busy the last week. The beach cleaning bringing in large logs and items like that, so that for safety for our boaters. In terms of myself, just a couple of things. Attended the resort municipality meeting and brought back some of the items of discussion with our colleagues. Starting business planning process for 2014, and reviewed the first draft of the terms of reference for the sewer capacity study, and continue to deal with our BFI waste management contractors who seem to be having a lot of issues with contaminated loads, and also we had quite an issue with the large item pickup last week, where a number of items were the pickup did not go very smoothly, so I'll be dealing with that. And also just completed the Osoyoos Indian Band water service agreement for the service station, which will be coming to council. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mr. Romanko. Motion to receive, Councillor Ryan Plant. All in favor? Thank you. Next would be council reports, and I believe Councillor Plant.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I am just going to pull up my calendar and go from the last time we were in council meeting. So on May 8th, we had a chance to go to the Okanagan-Similkameen Healthy Living Coalition. I had a chance to go there for a little bit of the morning, and it was really nice to see elected officials and senior staff and local governments and school districts, and Indian Band was there. And the whole idea behind it is to make the Okanagan-Similkameen the healthiest region in BC. And it was fairly interesting to see some of the things and some of the statistics of BC and the different ages and what's all happening. So it's again about it's an initiative that seeks to collaborate to support residents of our community to achieve a healthy lifestyle with a focus on children, youth, and high-risk populations. So look forward to continuous meetings and getting together and putting that together and being part of that. I think our community services, Gerald Davis, has taken on kind of the liaison for this. So looking forward to that moving forward. And then on Friday, we did all the, we had a fun day. Mayor Stu Wells and I went on a little bit of a walk for the Move for Health Day. Healthy Days. So it was the mayor and myself and a couple of people from the community. It was a beautiful day. I got to go for a walk, and actually the Sonora Center was doing their voting, so I actually got my vote in at the same time, which was really nice. I went in, voted, went for a walk, and then headed down to the marina for the opening of the Desert Sunrise Marina and the unveiling of the new sign. So it was a great day. The weather was excellent. Thanks for everybody that came out to that, and I'd like to thank Phil from the city planning here. That he did a great job on putting that together. We also, on Monday, the 13th, we had our department business plan updates, which was, it's always good to have, to get together to talk about plans and activities and what's happening with each of the different departments. And then finally, like we always bring up, was the Splash Park. And we continue our fundraising, as Mr. Romenko has mentioned. We have done our purchase for the equipment. What we're looking to do is raise funds now for the installment. So we ask that if you have, even if you're in the trades and you're interested in possibly looking at donating time and things like that, please feel free to contact myself and see how you can get involved. And of course, we're trying to get this in. We had a great discussion this morning about timelines and having this in for this summer. So we're excited to move forward. We're still doing our fundraising as far as our raffle tickets. We have our Rotary Golf Tournament coming up. We have a lot of things still coming up, and we're just plugging away and excited to start digging in the ground. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Councillor Plante. Councillor Ryan, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I attended the the Interior Health Healthy Living Fair, and that was really good. Made some contacts there with some of the dietitians about healthy things that we can have at our public gatherings, and so hopefully I'll be able to pass those along. The marina dedication, of course, was very, very nice, well done, and also I want to congratulate the Okanagan International Choir. They had a wonderful concert at the mini theater, and it was well attended, as it always is, and they just did a wonderful job. Nice group of talented individuals and singers who all do I guess two concerts a year, their spring and their Christmas December concert. And I hope everyone voted. I don't know what our statistics were, but I hope they were better than the provincial ones. And I also, besides having a busy week 2 weeks ago, had a very pleasant week this past week of visiting with one of my children and his wife. So that was a pleasant way to spend the holiday weekend. And that's my report for now.
Thanks, Councillor Ryan. Councillor McCordoff, please.
Thank you. Well, I also attended a couple of the things that have already been mentioned, so I won't mention them again. But I was able to attend the Festival of the Holy Spirit on Saturday night at the Sonora Center. It's put on by the Portuguese Society of Osoyoos, and they did a fabulous job. Many of the people that were there, and the place was crowded for dinner, came from Vancouver. There was a band from Vancouver and dancers from Vancouver, and they put on a terrific show. What amazed me more than anything was the fact that all of the Portuguese community, mostly the women, I think, cooked and prepared a fabulous meal, all kinds of things, just about everything you could think of. And they also, after the parade procession the following day on the Sunday, they had everybody invited back to the Sonora Center for a free lunch. So they do a terrific job. They all work together. They have a great community spirit, and they involve all of the children in just about everything they do. So kudos to them. It was a great evening. One of the other things that we're doing next week is the Canada Business Walks. And actually, the first one, Canada's first Business Walk program, was held about 6 months ago in the Central Okanagan. And several of us from the EDAC committee attended a workshop where this was discussed, and we decided it would be a good thing to have here. So on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, 27, 28, and 29, there will be members from the EDAC committee, from town council, from the Chamber of Commerce, and from the Destination Osoyoos board that will be coming around. You won't have all of them at once, but probably 3 people. We're going to try and go into as many businesses as possible, talk to people for a few minutes, find out how their business is doing, what can be done to aid their business in some way, and what they like best about doing business in Osoyoos. So if the person who is in the business is busy or is not there, there will be a letter left, and you know, you don't have to speak to us right then. If you're super busy, we just ask that you please contact us and let us know how you feel. So we're looking forward to seeing how well that's going to work in Osoyoos. So that's next week for businesses in town. And the next thing is called an accessorized fashion show. It is, the money is going to the Desert Sun Counseling and Resource Center. It's happening at the Watermark Wine Bar on Wednesday the 29th from 6 until 9. Tickets are $25, available at Imperial Office Pro and JoJo's and Beyond Bliss. And a couple of things about this. It's kind of a fun event. And one of the things they've asked people to do is bring, I think it's mostly for women. I'm not sure that men would find this too entertaining, but you know, you never know. They're asking women to bring a purse that you might have in your closet that you don't use anymore. Bring it in, donate it, and they're asking people to purchase a new purse for $10. So it's a great deal. I'd also like to say that the Parcel Events is a new company that just started in Osoyoos not too long ago. They do special events and event planning, and this accessorized fashion show is being handled by another group, or 2 ladies, I think, Signature Moments, another special events group that started up in town. So I think there must be enough business for both of them, and I wish them all the very best. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor McCordoff. Councillor Rhodes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and yeah, no purses in my closet. So last week we had a special open meeting of council, and every one of our directors reported to us about a lot of the ongoing business in their departments and updated us on a lot of the projects that are going on in town. And I just wanted to take a real quick second here to acknowledge and to thank each and every one of them for what they did and how much I really appreciate those updates. And thank you to CAO Romanko for putting it all together. It was a good process, worked well for me, and I found it to be very informative. So, well, here I go again. Want to talk about shopping local again, and this is going to be a bit of a rant. And you know, every time that I start talking about you know, the economic and cultural benefits of shopping local, I really do get a real flood of calls from folks that begin the conversation, it seems, with, "Who the hell do you think you are?" And over the last period of time, you know, I'm going to round this off. I think I've talked to 100 people and you know, probably out of those 100 people, I've been able to convince maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of them that shopping local has benefits. So I'm encouraged every time I'm able to do that. And I've been on this mission for about 3 years now, and trying to convince everybody that shopping local really will make their lives better and our community economically viable. When all of a sudden it occurred to me that shopping local, in fact, is a 2-way street, and that the merchants in our community need to do their part as well. I read on a social media site over the weekend that one of our local stores, Unity, made a lot of real positive comments about this May long weekend being one of their best sales-wise. It seems to me that they're really doing it right by encouraging shoppers to stay here. Immediately after that, I got up out of my chair, I went out to my truck, and I need fuel. I'm right out. So I drive to one of our local service stations, and You know, I was really appalled by the artificial increase in the cost of that fuel that I'm convinced coincided with our long weekend. So I binged, as opposed to Google, because they have much better pictures on their searching site, Canada gas prices. I found a reliable source of statistics and discovered that the following average per cost liters of fuel in Canada on Saturday morning on our long weekend were as follows. In New Brunswick, 123.9. The province of Ontario, we're at 125.7. Manitoba at 128.8. Province of Alberta at 123.9. And little old Osoyoos here at $1.41.9 per liter. So I'll never reveal what I did, but I'm guessing my decision was a fairly typical one. And besides, you know, you can get cheap cheese and cheap beer when you make those decisions. So what the heck is my point? Well, I'm going to tell you. If the cost of fuel was the same as it was last Thursday at around 129.9, I would not have given it a second thought, pulled up to the pump, and then went somewhere local to buy cheese and beer. So I say shame on you, Big Oil. Stop doing this and do your part to encourage folks in our community, not discourage them. And this has been bugging me for so long that it actually took precedent over my life over berating everybody about our poor election turnout in the provincial thing, so maybe I'll save that for next time.
Thanks, Councillor Rhodes. Nice little humor approach to shopping locally, but I think you are gaining a few. I know Martha went through a local little shop local at about I think a couple $1,000s worth of shopping local for flooring, and she started out by getting a merchant to see how close they could come to match a price, and he nailed it right on the head. So how good a story is that she's spending that money locally? It wasn't an advertised price, but he certainly came to what was being advertised in Penticton or wherever it was. So I think people have to be aware of that, and do give the merchants a chance. For my report, I think it was one of the busiest 2 weeks going, other than what's coming up in June. This May, June, and the wind up of all the organizations and graduations and thing coming to a close makes it very busy. But I was at an Okanagan Basin Water Board in Kelowna, went to McHappy Days and did a volunteer shift up there. That was a lot of fun. You have a different perspective when you see people down below you in that window than you do when you normally see them. It was pretty good. The Healthy Living Coalition, very important. Glad to see Councillor Plant talked about that. Glad to see that that's really getting prevalent there. And we heard more about it today at our Committee of the Whole meeting from the schools, and they're really working towards this healthy kick. And we have to do it for our kids. It's really important. We have to do it for ourselves too, but if we can start changing ideas, now's the time to do it. Parcel Events was mentioned, went to that grand opening. That was very, very nice. It was the tent out in front of where Unity 2 used to be, Johnson Meyer Insurance there. If you're out and about, do go into the shop. It's a wedding event shop. It's got a lot of bling for the girls that are interested. Very, very nice. It looks real classy show for Alicia and Eric. Also the marina opening was good fun. Cake and coffee and a few speeches and ribbon cutting, and nice to get that wrapped up and done. The business plan was good. Went to School District 53, an evening meeting on a visioning exercise for the school district. They certainly had a lot of different players there and looking at what they want to look like 5 years out. Also went to can never stay away from effluent and sewer, I guess. I went to I went to OK Falls to look at some of their issues as they open up that new plant that you can see it from the highway right behind Harleywood. You can see that big plant there. And of interest was the fact that they are over $500 a year for sewer, and that's phasing in the $260 borrowed money costs of that new plant. So that's a 3-year phase-in. So really, they're paying $760 a year for 1 unit of residential service. And Tom Siddon, the rural director for Area D, he put on that meeting and had a lot of RDOS staff there just to walk the people through those costs. And I was actually quite floored at those costs, but I guess that's the cost of doing business. Also opened up Market on Main on Saturday. Unfortunately, it was a bit of a rainy day for Market on Main, but the spirit was good. The people were there, smiles on faces, a little bit of music. It was light and fun, and I'm looking for all the Market on Mains. And then on Saturday afternoon, did a little ribbon cutting for SUP, stand-up paddling, as they opened their new business at the very far end of Cottonwood, right up against the washrooms in the pump house there. So that was really good. They've got, I believe, 5 or 6 qualified local instructors that are going to be able to get people stand-up paddling. I think they had about, I don't know, they got 10 boards, and it looks like they're really set up to do a fine job with a new business in Osoyoos. So always good to see new businesses opening. I did see the folks from Osoyoos, and they just had some knockout days there. I think some of those sunny days on the weekend when they did break through, they haven't been open that long, but they were certainly setting new volume records. So that's fun when you're doing that, and all the best to them, and a great service to Osoyoos. I think that's basically it. And instead of my enjoy the sunny afternoon out there, folks, I'm sad to say we have a little spring rain. So we'll get through that fast and on to what makes the South Okanagan so special. Good afternoon. Motion to adjourn? Absolutely. Councilor McCordock, Rhodes, all in favor? We're adjourned.
I would propose.
I was referred by Councilor Val.
Good thing you're there. I think
Adjournment.
So. She remembers.
She should be the adjournment person.
Remember that, and then Oliver, they forget to all the correspondence in the reading file, so I gotta get that there.